I have to be sorry with you guys. I lied to you. I'm a fraud. My online masterclasses are all scam. I promised you this. Now you have the plan to boost your playing. You only need 15 minutes every day. 15 minutes every day. But that's of course a lie, and in reality we have to practice 5 to 6 hours every day to become better on our instrument. Or maybe not. Guitar champion, let's debunk that myth in today's video. Here we go. Hey Guitar Champion, what's going on? I'm 𝗚𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗 back from my practice dojo and welcome to today's video. Just for context, I currently have 3 online masterclasses out there. One is the ZEN of Speedpicking, my personal baby, my big online masterclass where there's so much insights on speed picking. And every time when I learned something new, I updated it. Every time when I came across some new exercises, some new licks, some new etudes, you will find them in the ZEN of Speedpicking. Every update is for free after you've got this. Then I've got the ZEN of Sweeping, 18 really fun sweep etudes that will bring you from first level sweeper to master sweeper. And last but not least, I have my newest product, which is called the Gateway to Shred. The Gateway to Shred has a different kind of concept. Here I'm going to show you in 4 weeks the basic and fundamental knowledge and wisdom when it comes to solo guitar playing. I do this with daily lessons, licks and exercises that are around 15 minutes long and more focusing on beginner to intermediate player. So now the YouTuber Tony's Guitar Hangout, he actually made a review about that course and he spoke really positively about it. I didn't know that was nothing which is sponsored. I didn't give him money to talk good about my products. He has some criticism as well, which I absolutely understand, accept, and I will work on this. But he mostly speaks really positively about this. And there's a comment underneath his review in his video that I wanted to share with you because it brings up a really interesting question when it comes to practicing and becoming better on our instrument. So 𝗚𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗 vice Gitarrenlektionär wrote, I am so tired of all of this. You only need to practice 15 minutes a day to become a shredder. Nonsense. It is an insult. An insult. Oh, sorry, cats. An insult to those of us who have practiced 5 to 12 hours a day for years. If you want to be a decent campfire guitarist, sure, maybe 15 minutes a day works. But if you want to become a technical proficient guitarist with everything that entails picking technique, finger strength, theory, scale, soloing techniques, forget it. You're barely even warmed up after 15 minutes. 𝗚𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗 makes good videos. Thank you about that. Subscribe if you haven't yet. But no, these kind of videos are a scam. And that made me think a little bit. Because I once was on his side and I thought for a really long time that you have to invest a lot of time to become better at guitar playing. I used to put in so many hours of work into guitar practicing. From 2010 to 2020, I've practiced my 5 to 10 hours every day. I was really like, oh yeah, today I've practiced 6 hours of guitar. I'm so much better than all of you. No, but I wasn't better than certain guitar players, even, on a scalable level. My technique was not better than other guitar players, my improvisation skills was not better than other guitar players, but I put in so much more hours. But nowadays I think a little bit differently about that. In 2020 certain things has changed and the quantity of practicing diminished, but the quality increased. And that was a really important moment of my development as a guitar player. I also talked about this already in certain videos that I highly recommend to watch, like this one here. But what has changed is the focus of how I practice, for example. So I changed that in 2020 and boom, my technique and the way how I can express myself musically went through the roof immediately. But let's go back to, do we have to put in so much hours? No. I mean, the more hours we can put into our practice routine, of course, it is to a certain point, certain level, it is always better. focus of how I practice, for example. After a specific level, our brain shuts down. Our brain needs breaks. Our brain needs time to recover, time to get sleep, time to process the things that we have learned. When I was talking with other professional instrumentalists like piano players, sax players, trumpets, whatever, drums, they never said something like, I've practiced 7 hours today, I've practiced 6 hours today. But in university, every teacher, every professor of mine, doesn't matter what kind of instrument, recommended to me, dude, take breaks. Give your brain the time it needs to process the things that you've just learned. Otherwise, you will learn nothing.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Another thing is, we of course have to be careful as well with what we are doing to our body when we are practicing so long for so many hours. For example, take a look at my good friend Christian Münzner. He was practicing for hours, really stressful, really disciplined back in the day. What did he get out of this? Focal dystonia. Highly recommend to watch this video that I made with him together on his channel, where he explains more about this. But practicing hard, not smart, can lead to some severe damages in your body and in your playing. With 15 minutes every day, you can learn enough to become better the next day. So Jonas claims that this is an insult to those of us who have practiced 5 to 12 hours every day. It is not an insult per se, but I would say certain things has changed. Like, for example, the knowledge on how technique works. In the last 10 years, so much has developed and changed about the approach and how to teach something and how to learn something. That is one of the reasons why nowadays kids are so extremely good at guitar playing. And now with all the knowledge that we have from Troy Grady with the pick slanting, Anton Opperin, consider myself as well in this kind of wave of new education guitar playing. The new wave of guitar education. That sounds like a really cool genre. All this kind of new information that we nowadays have because we put in these hours. That's the good thing. We put in those hours to fail so that the next generation doesn't have to do this anymore. So I don't see this as an insult. I see this as development, an evolution, a progress into the right direction. I spent so many hours practicing my picking out of the elbow movement to find out that movement is shit. I've practiced so many hours, certain, fretboard navigational systems, certain ways to understand harmony that confused me even more. And we educators, yes, we put in those hours so that you the students don't have to make these mistakes anymore. That for me is a beautiful honor, to be honest. Because again, with nowadays knowledge about how to learn something, how to execute a technique, what is going on in our body when we are playing, again, we don't need anymore these 5 to 12 hours to practice. The next thing is, and that is a question that is hard to understand as an educator sometimes, do you even want to become the next level shredder on this planet? I have 2 people in my team who I consider my manager, and these guys are not only really helpful when it comes to organizing all of this shit here, but also when it comes to giving me a new perception on playing guitar. To show me, hey, most of the people who are watching your stuff, who are learning from you, are people who have a full-time job. Sometimes people having really hard jobs. I know from people who have the gateway to shred, for example, who are like, doctors, lawyers, whatnot, all these kind of much more important jobs than me here, sitting here and doing YouTube. But they said, first of all, they don't have the 5 to 12 hours. Second is, they don't want to become the next Jason Richardson. They want to probably only become a better guitar player. And for that, they need a clear system and a good system that is demonstrating in an easy and in a well-packaged way how to become better on your instrument. YouTube is extremely confusing for all of us. We need these kind of guidance here and there. And therefore, not only my masterclass, but so many courses are really important to get a system into your practice routine. Speaking of system about practice routine, next Sunday I'm going to give a masterclass on Master the Art of Practicing, where I talk about how to design your own practice routine, your own practice plan in your best individual way, and what is really important to stay focused on staying in the flow of practicing. Check the link in the description box for more. So, and those people, they maybe only have 15 to 30 minutes every day for focused and clear practicing. And there they need guidance that you, for example, can get in the Gateway to Shred, where I show you every day different things that you can explore more after those 4 weeks, because this is just a preparation for the beautiful world of solo guitar playing. The journey is ahead of you, but again, you don't need 5 to 12 hours to practice this, because you who's watching this, you probably don't have this, truth to be told. And that is absolutely fine. Maybe you have a good job, maybe you have a family and a busy life, and then in the evening you have 15 to 30 minutes time to settle down to practice. Yes, take your 10 minutes for warming up, yes, and then start with the 15 minutes, and with a clear practice plan and a clear practice routine, which is easy to get, you can easily become a better guitar player every day. Maybe not the best, maybe not the technical wise, super speed, whatever you want to be. Even you can go there. Of course, then you have to put in a little bit more time than 15 minutes. But I can guarantee to you, when you're spending those 15 minutes with a clear path, like from the Gateway to Shred, with focus, dedication, and patience, this is enough to become a better guitar player. That's why I hate the question, hey, how long have you practiced to become that good? How many hours a day did you practice to become that good? It doesn't matter. The quantity of the time is so much more important than the quality. Of course I meant the quality of time is so much more important than the quantity. I always fuck those up. I'm sorry about that. Yes, to achieve certain things, you have to practice hard. You have to work hard. But you also have to work smart. And if you don't like me, I highly recommend to check out Matt Wright or Anton Opperin. These guys, top-notch educators, as well the Troy Grady stuff. Up until 2020, I would say, top-notch guitar educational stuff. Now I have my criticism with it and with his way of teaching and developing techniques. Raphael Terrillo is another example of a great educator that I can highly recommend to check out. My buddy Christian Minzner as well. There are so many people out there who you can learn from, and everybody will tell you, you don't have to put in the 5 to 12 hours every day. This, my friend, is not an insult. This is progress. And more progress you can get when you're subscribing to this channel here, the Justin Hornbach channel. Leave a like, leave a comment if you like this kind of video, or what is your perception or your feedback, your opinion on practicing extremely long to become better. Let me know in the comments. I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. I wish you, as always, a lot of fun learning, practicing and mastering the guitar. Cheers, power your progress.